What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling like the SPY right now. Hope you guys are looking like the Qs. I hope you guys are ready for the last day of the week, the first Friday of November. And I hope you guys had a fantastic week so far. I know we've been doing pretty good in terms of hitting some of the big option trades. We hit some good, decent trades during the week. So relatively speaking, off to a pretty good start for November. And I know some of you guys out there are absolutely crushing it as well. Let's do a quick screen share of the SPY. All right. We've got it's okay. It's not a we're still inside day, right? And I think most things will be inside day. However, I think we have to flip a little bit more to the bullish side, at least for a day trade purpose. Maybe we can get a little bit of a pullback, but we really, after the initial gap down, we started to jump up a little bit. We're waiting for that retest pretty much all day. It never really came. We fell short at the end of the day. You had some increased volume on the pretty much just sell off the last 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 minutes, 25 minutes a day. Nothing but selling with good volume pouring in. So I think you had a little bit of a fear. And today we are gapping above it. So I think we do have the ability to stay bullish today, gapping above a whole lot of that volume that came in just yesterday. What is up, Hector? Honestly, we have some room to run. Let me see what the 618 is. I don't know. We do have. I don't know if Woodshed's here yet, but didn't Woodshed say he's going to go long? I think he did. I think that guy is pushing the market. Let's see this. So if I was to draw a fib on this, we're only really at the 38% retracement right now. So realistically, I don't even want to say it. I'm trying to figure out how not to say it for you, Hector. But yeah, here's our VPOC. That's 382. The only thing with this VPOC is, so if I'm looking at direction, right? So we obviously broke down. We already did retest this once. And what I'm hoping for is maybe we're looking more at 378.68. I'll draw a little line on the chart. So this would be somewhere here would be the 50%. We'll get another one up there for the 618. Yeah. This is a good, I think we're trapping a decent amount of people. So this VPOC today is going to be good support. I don't really see it breaking after an entire day of really just doing nothing. The only thing during that time frame, like the volume was on each individual candle, volume was very, very low. Obviously, we stayed there all day in that range, and then it looked like we were just jumping off a cliff. But I have to lean a little bit more bullish today. I think, again, a much bigger gap and go would be if we could gap above that Wednesday that we had. Obviously, we're not there yet. And even actually, hold on. So did we? I think this is a we're gapping outside of yesterday's range, I believe. Actually, hold on. Yeah, never mind. I was looking at the wrong day, or must have been the wrong time frame or something. But yeah, we are actually. It is a pure gap and go. All right, and then another case for the bullish side. Look at that downtrend line that we had. So downtrend, we broke. This is a retest of that downtrend. Are we flipping? Come on, market, make up your mind. What is up, Tony? Sure, I'm trapped. We could so anything with the longer term. I think I have a NVIDIA put that I took out yesterday, and then with that rundown yesterday, I was like, all right, let's hold it. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna be killed on that one. But I'm gonna hedge it today, and then I have some longer ones. I think you might have the longer Nvidia as well. We'll see what happens, but we can always play those with hedges, try to get some free puts on the table, and that's the game we're gonna play today. That's what it looks like. Qs, same deal. Very strong close toward the end of the day. What's up, Jesse? Pretty strong close. I mean, all in all, if this thing starts to rally, we could be looking at this thing in a week saying, yeah, all right, well, that makes sense. This entire move is a retest here. And again, maybe we do form some kind of double bottom. It's possible, but I got to go bullish today. At least today. At least today, I got to probably be pushing some bullish gap and goes. Nvidia is in, again, so here's Nvidia. This is a retest gap technically because it was a green candle. But where this gap is opening is above anywhere that the bears came in to sell. And it's also above 1, 2, 3. It's got potential to run today. This would be a very good bull trap if it doesn't work. But next stop on Nvidia could be 143.82. I mean, we're clearing a lot of days at some kind of support. Lucian says daily 10 is at, or the daily, let me go back to, what is that for, the SPY? 376? You're saying the daily 20 is at 376, so we're right there now. And again, we had the entire day yesterday was not that crazy volume. This candle still plays more volume, right? And that was still selling. So anybody that's still in there short, I don't want to get out of my, I don't want to get out of the one that expires today. I'm going to be hosed on, so I'll get out, save whatever I can. But the ones for the longer term, I think I'm going to just wait until we get some. We still have the VPOC down here from yesterday, or actually it was down here somewhere. Oh, there it is. We still have a trend down. I mean, this all could still be some kind of just pop and drop as well. If the overall trend wasn't so bearish, this would be an amazing gap. And it kind of still is a pretty good looking gap across the board. Let me take off some of these. Delta would be a retest gap. That one's gonna be a hard pass today. I'm gonna, we actually did good on Delta yesterday, but I don't know. This one's gapping. It's about 50% in between each VPOC. So honestly, that one could go either way. I'm sure there's just a much more better gaps. Here's one that closed below VPOC yesterday on Amazon. We're gapping up slightly. We have a question in YouTube. Do you think the markets can be manipulated prior to the election to make the Dems look better? I think the market could be manipulated every day. Every day, the market could be. If you got money, the market can be manipulated. If the market's moving off of job reports, things like that, it becomes a little bit harder. But you could definitely make some job numbers look a little bit more rosy based on how you clarify if somebody's working or not. You could change the definition as to somebody that isn't working because they work from home or they work for themselves or something like that. And then just you're saying that they're not even in the workforce, or somebody that's just collecting unemployment for so long, you just wipe them off of the workforce and you just go, all right, we're not going to use that skew as a number. So you could manipulate some of those reports. I wouldn't be shocked if some of them might be or already are. I think the inflation number that comes out is skewed. I don't think that's a correct number whatsoever. But I think it's far worse than what some of those numbers are actually coming out as. But and then the other way that you can manipulate it, if you're, and I'm just going from a political aspect, because obviously if you have a ton of money in the market, your hedge funds, your things like that, you also have the ability to push stocks kind of where you need to, for sure. Even by creating some kind of just news piece of every time they come out and somebody goes, oh, I upgrade the stock or I downgrade the stock. I mean, realistically, and then the entire stock moves from it. Realistically, that's some kind of manipulation, right? You're just coming out with your assessment. How you get your assessment is questionable, right? And who's in that trade in that direction that you're assessing should go higher or lower should probably be looked into. And then you could also have the markets themselves from a political aspect. You could have, I mean, if we're talking Dems, we could have Nancy Pelosi, we could have Joe Biden, we could have what's her name, Jean Pierre. They could all come out with messaging on how they are moving a certain policy, and then that policy will affect the markets, right? So they could be, even if they don't pass the bill, or they're at least presenting it as a potential to pass in the House or Congress, you're going to have people go, well, let's say it's on guns, right? If they're coming out with a gun policy, that's going to make the stock itself move a certain way. So there's definitely ways to manipulate without even directly purchasing a stock, right? And then it's just the fine line as to what's legal or not legal, and none of that. If you're saying, hey, we're putting this policy forward, all right, well, that's what you're saying you're doing. So you can manipulate the market, make it move in a certain way, and there's nothing really illegal if you're not profiting. I mean, if you're directly, from what I'm learning, is you're directly not placing the trade yourself, but your husband's at home, sitting on the couch, being the best trader ever, that's legal, apparently. I don't know. We can just change the definition. Yeah, just what is a word? What is a word? So yeah, to some extent. Apple looks to fill the gap. It's trying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really nice gap. Again, so this one won't qualify for 10 EMA out of the gate. And I'm okay with that. Just kind of waiting and seeing how serious this is. I do think we have to come back to retest this one more time. So I wouldn't be shocked if we bounce off this 10 EMA on the hourly, and we just rock it back down using 140 as some kind of support. And I'd be equally not as shocked if this is a very bullish gap and go in a very bearish trend. So we're gonna get a little mixed decision. I'll play whichever way we start pushing, but this one we get to sit on our hands at least for a little bit, because until we break out of the high of the day, it's not gonna work. Not gonna work so well. We got AMD. Chico says happened in 2020. Booker mentioned legalizing weed stocks. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then again, like it's so hard to figure out, like, as long as Booker doesn't have money in weed stocks, then technically it's legal. But if every cousin he has money in weed, like, how are you going to prove that every family member knew prior to any announcements? It's a tough job. Tough job to prove it. AMD is close to breaking out the highs of the day, but again, not quite there yet. We have seen it get up here. And again, watch out for this area, because we could skyrocket and run from here. We have room to the upside. Upside on this one, I'd probably give it close to, I think the real next target is about $67. So this would be a good move if it could break. We are gapping above realistically every single VPOC that was in this little consolidation. This is a really, really nice gap on AMD. The only caveat is we're in that one spot where the bulls did push it down last time, and obviously we're getting some kind of strength in the market today. But we'll see how strong that strength is, and if the bulls can carry it home. We will see. Tesla gapping up to 221.95. So again, we were kind of waiting on that 222 zone yesterday. Some of you guys are able to get the 221s, or they were buying puts at 221. So was that a day trade for you, Hector, or no? You still holding? I would be very interested in still buying another put. I didn't get a chance to get it because I walked away from the computer for 2 seconds. But I would be interested in buying a put on Tesla, just with some time value on it. Yep. So we have Coinbase reported yesterday. They're gapping up, and then we have PayPal and Square. Those are going to be some big movers too. Coinbase looks like a decent spot. What I would like to see is this is one of those ones I'd love to see a red candle. And pretty much any of those, even AMD, even Apple, with this type of gap and goes, we get some kind of opening high wave on a 3-minute, or we get some kind of red candle in general. Taking a break above that would definitely be a decent play. If this one gets going, we have to about 63.73, somewhere in that zone. Let's go to PayPal. But if it starts breaking down underneath that VPOC, then I would just wait personally. I don't really want to play it bearish. We got PayPal gapping down. I think PayPal did beat on everything, but I think they did forecast lower guidance. So I think they're more so down on guidance as opposed to the actual reports themselves. That does not look like a great gap. I have a blue line here for some reason. It's at my target. That could be why. We do have a few VPOCs a little bit lower, but we're at some kind of a support right now. This would also be some kind of a retest gap. So I would expect to not go short at open on this one in worst case. Hector says it's January. Thoughts? I have Square January 60 puts for protection, bail or hold. I would still hold at the moment until we start breaking out of the $63. So anything above $63, I would probably start bailing. Otherwise, it is a really good gap today. Technically, this is a retest gap. You do have some resistance. I think Square fades. I actually think Square fades on this news. But Square came, they beat with earnings. You are getting some kind of gap. If this gap was a little bit higher, I would be like, yeah, probably just bail and look for more protection somewhere else. I think in a worst case, you could probably get some kind of a pullback on this one. So what time is it? 9:18. I think we get some kind of a pullback, probably to about here. And then we're looking for maybe that happens if this consolidation doesn't hold, but we're not really breaking out. We have two still double tops up here. We do have very strong resistance right there. So if we start moving higher, then yeah, otherwise I would just kind of keep that protection still. I think most likely we fade it for now. Jordan says, do you count pre-market pullbacks as accurate or no? What do you mean exactly, Jordan? Looking at a Tesla 5-minute with extended hours on. It depends on how real the pullback is. You're probably talking about this one right here. To me, that's most likely a fat finger. I don't know if that's valid or not, but it hit the VPOC perfectly. Yeah. You might have had some action down there. I didn't see this candle as it formed. It was one, like, there's a lot of wicks around that same time, which is probably also right off the earnings too. Oh, off of that, the not earnings, but the report that came out earlier today. So I based on the location, yeah, there's probably some validity to it, I would think. That's all. Is that all around the same time? This is 8:30 in the morning. This is, that's about the same time. This one's about the same time as well. So yeah, it's probably quick reaction off the payroll jobs. There is probably some validity to those. If it's like a one-off candle and it's literally there for 12, like not even a second, just a quick flash, then it's probably not really a real wick. This one probably does have some accuracy to it though. Yep. Still, I mean, and also I still kind of take everything with a grain of salt. Where in pre-market, so I'd be looking for more longer term, so not usually just one candle spikes pre-market. I'm more or less looking for from 9 p.m. until now, right? That's 24 minutes of sideways chop, building some kind of actual support resistance. I'd rather see that break, but yeah, if we dip down this, even just on a pure structural basis, right? If these candles are all correct and real, you had a lot of volume, so there's some legitimacy to this. Right around when that report came out, you have this being your hammerish doji looking candle. Here's our break. Here's our retest. We got a double top, almost cup and handle, and then we kind of break out from there. Now we're creating that. So this is probably some type of a 1, 2. We're probably in 3 right now. Or we just had 3. If this pulls back maybe a little bit further, this would be some kind of 4, or even trade sideways for just a little longer. We could get 1 pop, and then maybe we get at least some kind of attempted reversal. So we'll have to see, but yep, that looks good. What other stocks tickers do you guys have in YouTube? Could you look at HDSN? All right. HD. What was it? SN? HDSN. Hudson Technologies. Looks a little range bound to me. If I was in this one with shares, I would probably be looking to sell some calls if they have calls available. I'm not sure, but if that's an option, I would probably sell some calls up here. You're starting to hit a little bit of resistance, but you do have, at least for now, short will probably be the direction for me. Right, so you have a little bit of a channel forming here. As soon as we get up to this range, this has been notably some kind of sell. If you start breaking out tops, take the L, wait for that pullback, and then flip it for long as a breakout. But you definitely have some kind of, again, I don't know what this is on. This is probably earnings. If this is earnings, I usually have 2 or 3 days of potential continuation. So if you're going to start shorting, give it another day or 2. Right, you probably want some kind of follow through, but there's a lot of people profitable into a strong resistance zone right now. So I would be very cautious on buying here. In a worst case, probably give it today, maybe Monday, see if you get a pop, and then I would look for more of a short opportunity if you're not breaking out of these previous moves. The next stop for this one, 1069, would look like a fair value for some bigger term, I would say, resistance. So watch that area very closely. Big surge after Wednesday. Netflix, NFLX. Where's this thing actually opening? 272. 270, 275. This would be an interesting spot for, I mean, I don't know what happens risk to reward wise. Maybe on a swing trade, probably not that bad. So you do have this gap fill in here, but again, this is a gap and go. This one might not actually fill for a very long time. So this could look something like this. This is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. In a worst case scenario, I think we do have to retest. I think if you miss the earnings run up, this right here is a spot somewhere in the zone for you to have some type of, like, maybe I could get in for the next push. But they did have good earnings. They did have more subscribers, so they actually have some good news catalyst. This all could just be a retest, and then something like this happens. right? And yeah, either we get stopped up here or we break out and that's the next wave. But if you're swing trading this, you do have some kind of defined risk, right? So if you can get in anywhere above, I mean, realistically, if you just take a stab at it at open, you're probably not sitting too far off either, right? The stop to me would be more important, and the stop would put me somewhere closer to 262.24. Even if you're getting in at pre-market, it's sitting at about $10 of risk on the trade. As soon as this thing breaks and starts closing, I would be okay. We're most likely wrong on the trade, and we're going to be coming in for about 250. Right, but you give yourself $10 of risk to the upside of this thing, then at this point, 282 and change becomes 1R. 292 is 2Rs. That would just be a pure risk reward trade. But this is where we held before. This is a gap and go. The fact that we went, we come back, we retest that initial move, and we pop. This could be an interesting spot for Netflix. DraftKings, Baba, and JD. Baba, good little gap. The only problem again, number one, this is a retest gap. I would expect this to fade at open. We are at some kind of resistance as well. So this one I do expect to probably fade. JD. Same thing. So this is a retest gap. I wouldn't go long right at open. Worst case, wait for a pullback. We do have a little bit of resistance. It's going to have to work itself through as well. But that being said, you are starting to break some decent volume areas. So maybe if you're looking to buy, see if you could get it down closer to 142-ish, somewhere in that zone. But I would expect them to at some point start fading back a little bit. And I don't think anyone's too confident yet. DraftKings had earnings, it looks like. I actually did not see the DraftKings earnings yet, but it looks like they beat on both fronts. Maybe forecast or guidance was down a little bit, but these guys are getting hosed. And again, watch out for this level down here. This is some kind of support. So regardless, we would be looking for probably a retest gap. This might be a good buy spot at the open. Stops somewhere closer to $12.42, and see if we could actually close that gap up. But this would be a decent support spot that we're gapping into. And even though it looks weak, I would love to see a red candle on this one and play this one to the long direction. How high you think Amazon could go today? The zone. I don't know. Depends if this market gap and go is really, really strong today. We might see a little crazier move, but for right now, I'll give you a couple levels. So first one is 94.34. Then we're looking at 96.89, and then probably the highest, if we get something crazy, would be about $100.57. We would need something magical to happen on that, though, I think. Right now, even with this gap and go in the market, Amazon is just, the earnings reports were just, they were just horrible. I just don't see where investors want to get into Amazon at this point without waiting for another quarter to come out. But unfortunately, that sound is the morning bell. YouTube, appreciate you guys joining us each and every day. Make sure you guys check out Real Life Trading for some full-on classes from beginner, intermediate, and advanced. On the way out, make sure you guys hit that little thumbs up. That is also identified as the like button, and it just helps me out a lot in terms of other people like yourselves trying to find ourselves. And if you have not hit the subscribe, make sure you do so. This way you guys get all of the newest, latest content that comes out from